Hey everybody, this is a clip from the latest episode of the Randi Rhodes Show. If you want the full episode, you can watch live on Free Speech TV, Dish Channel 9415, DirecTV 348, Sling, Roku, and Apple TV.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
We're used to the idea that we cast votes and then the popular vote winner in a state gets that state's electoral votes. But the Constitution doesn't say it has to be that way. Trump and his people are aware of this. The state legislature has the power, according to the Supreme Court, to seize back from the people the decision over who the electors will be. And Trump's people are talking about a strategy in which they would go to the legislatures in some of the 6 swing states that are controlled by Republicans in the legislature in both chambers and say, you should reject the vote count because it's corrupt, because it's rigged, because it's filled with fraud, and you should therefore appoint electors that would be Trump electors, regardless of the vote, just to cast aside the vote.
This is the dilemma. That's Barton Gellman. He's Pulitzer Prize-winning writer. He wrote a piece. It's very, very long. It's in the homework. It was in the homework yesterday, but it's in the homework again today. And it's marked. It says, long read, must read. And it's by Barton Gellman, and it's in the Atlantic, and it's called The Election That Broke America. And this is how far Donald Trump is willing to play this game with our democracy. This is how far he's willing to go. These are the lengths to which he will play. He thinks that we, the people, are disgusting, as you know. His own supporters, he thinks, are disgusting. He has nothing but contempt for us. The chanting that happened today at Ruth Bader Ginsburg's Supreme Court funeral, for lack of a better word, as she laid there outside in her casket, a tiny little casket, when the voters yelled, vote him out, respect her wish, respect her wish. This peeves him. This literally pisses him off to the point where he's going to get even. He is going to get even. This man does not, he can't stand up to criticism. He hits back. And what he's going to hit back against is democracy itself. This is a disgusting fascist plan that mimics places like Belarus and Poland and Hungary, which I have been cautioning you about, which I have been explaining for weeks now, that this is how democracies die. The people in Hungary, the people in Poland, they voted for somebody. The same thing in, Putin's Russia. All elections are rigged. And then it falls to the people, right? Millions of people are out in Belarus on the street because they know their election was rigged. They know their election was fixed. It's like Putin says, it doesn't matter who votes, it matters who counts the votes. And if you have Republican states like Arizona and Florida where the legislatures are Republican majority legislatures and the governor is a Republican governor, they can literally send any slate of electors they want, as long as they pick that. From what I understand, from what I'm reading in the Constitution, believe it or not, there's an obligation to choose the slate of electors on election day, right? And then there's a cutoff date, December 8th. Those electors have to go to Congress. And so there's a period. It's called the safe harbor period. Okay. And if Republican legislatures and Republican governors decide to change their state laws, they can do it. And they can send any slate of electors that they feel they want to send. That is the problem. That is where we are. This is break the glass time. This is a time to understand the only thing, and you'll know this, the only thing that saves us from any of these backroom machinations is a blowout. a result so crystal clear, so not within a margin of error, not, half a percentage point, not a point, not 2 points, a blowout is what saves us from all of this chaos and grief. Nothing else saves us. Nothing. Because this is the scheme.
So let's be clear here that in the swing states of Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, you have Democratic governors, but you have Republican legislatures there. You have Republican legislatures in Ohio and Florida as well. Are you saying that Donald Trump's campaign and his lawyers are talking to some in those legislatures and telling them to overthrow the will of the voters in those states?
Well, I know that they've had that conversation with the head of the Republican Party in Pennsylvania, who told me so. And I know that the Pennsylvania Senate Majority Leader and Speaker of the House are aware of this talk and have talked among themselves about the possibility. Trump is running a campaign premised on the idea that he can't win enough votes if all the votes are counted, and that he has to change venues. He has to change to a different way of counting. And the thing about a presidential election is that it depends on the concession of the loser. If the loser won't concede, and in particular if the incumbent won't concede, he's got a bunch of different reps that he can work. There's no single umpire with the ability to say, okay, the game's over, we've called it, score. The American system isn't built a single efficient umpire that way.
We don't have a single umpire. We don't. In some scenarios, this goes to the Supreme Court. In other scenarios, this goes to Congress. And as you know, and don't forget, I've told you this too, and I tell you this because you have to know. You have to know how this works, okay? Congress, some people think, oh, well, if the Electoral College is screwed up and blah, then Congress picks the president. They pick the president by congressional delegation. Congressional delegation, not the representatives from each state. Each state gets one vote. One vote. That's a world of difference in the math, right? But I will tell you that this article that was written by Barton Gellman, that's in the homework yesterday and today, this article actually includes conversations that this reporter who won a Pulitzer Prize, I mean, the man is brilliant. He actually spoke to members of state legislatures. He actually spoke to the Speaker of the House in Pennsylvania, the Senate Majority Leader in Pennsylvania. He actually spoke to other people in other states, and they're saying, hey, we've been given this constitutional power, and if we don't think the results in our own state are accurate, the state will choose its slate of electors that we think properly reflect the results of our state. So they are getting primed and ready, and that is why it's so important that Trump says, I'm going to make a play for New York. I already got Pennsylvania, right? Because he's already talked to the legislature in Pennsylvania, the House and the Senate.